We're all connected to each other biologically, to the earth chemically, to the rest of the universe atomically.
I think nature's imagination is so much greater than man's. He's never gonna let us relax.
We live in an in-between universe where things change alright, but according to patterns, rules, or as we call them, laws of nature.
I'm this guy standing on a planet. Really, I'm just a speck compared with a star. The planet is just another speck. To think about all of this, to think about the vast emptiness of space. Billions and billions of stars, billions and billions of specks. The beauty of a living thing is not the atoms that go into it, but the way those atoms are put together. The cosmos is also within us. We're made of spark stuff, and we are away from the cosmos to know itself.
Across the sea of space, the stars are of Earth's sun. We've traveled this way before, and there is much to be learned.
We're all connected to each other biologically, to the earth chemically, to the rest of the universe atomically.
I find it elevating and exhilarating to discover that we live in a universe which permits the evolution of molecular machines as intricate and subtle as we.
I know that the molecules in my body are traceable to phenomena in the cosmos. That makes me want to grab people in the street and say, have you heard this?
The beauty of a living thing is not the atoms that go into it, but the way those atoms are put together. The cosmos is also within us. We're made of spark stuff, and we are away from the cosmos to know itself. There's this tremendous mass of waves all over in space, which is the light bouncing around the room, going from one thing to the other, and it's all really there, really there. But you gotta stop and think about it, about the complexity, and really get the pleasure. It's all really there, really there. The inconceivable nature. To think about all of this, to think about the vast emptiness of space. Billions and billions of stars, billions and billions of specks. The beauty of a living thing is not the atoms that go into it, but the way those atoms are put together. The cosmos is also within us. We're made of spark stuff, and we are away from the cosmos to know itself.
Across the sea of space, the stars are of Earth's sun. We've traveled this way before, and there is much to be learned.
That was the Talking Alternative Radio Encore broadcast. We hope you enjoyed it. Now, for the live shows, professionals serving community, talkingalternative.com.
couple of quick things for you all. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, welcome to my show. Welcome to the attic. Where am I? You know where I am. I'm in the attic. Where is that located? Well, it's just above the second floor, and it's below the roof. Above the second floor, below the roof. Make sure I got the logistics right. Yes, that's where I am, in the attic. 48 episodes of Philanthropy and Phocus have happened. Well, one actually was on the road. One I was traveling in Reno, Nevada in the spring, but every other episode has been here in my attic. And what it does when you do a show in your attic, or I guess when you do a show remotely, period, it gives you the opportunity to bring friends in from all around the country. So if we were doing the show in New York City or out here on Long Island, it might be more difficult to have folks come into the quote unquote real studio, right? So we've been in the attic 48 episodes. This is the 49th episode. This episode of Philanthropy and Phocus, first of all, this was just an idea. It was a concept. It was something I talked about for a bunch of years. And now I've done it 49 times. It will have. By 11 a.m. today, it will have completed 49 times. And it is super exciting. And I'm the nonprofit sector connector. So what does that mean? So most of the people that have come on this show are either friends of mine that I knew, friends of mine that have been introduced from other friends of mine. That might have been a friend of mine sending an email. We'll have to make sure we take care of that before we keep going. Shut that outlook off. But, it's all about connecting for me. It's all about two things every day, two driving forces. And I met John Maxwell, the great Dr. John Maxwell, a number of years ago in Utica, New York. He has written, at the time, it was 90 some odd books. So maybe it's 100 and change at this point. And he talked about making an impact and adding value. And ever since, my buddy Bobby Kudlick and I had gone to see him, and it's got to be 15 plus years ago. And that stuck with me. How am I going to make an impact? How am I going to add value? And, if you heard right before the show started, it said, talking alternative broadcasting professionals, serving community. Well, guess what? I like all types of professionals, but my favorite professionals are the ones in our sector, my sector, the nonprofit sector, where we make an impact and add value consistently. And my whole job here is one thing, maybe two. It's to help my friends who come on the show tell their story and amplify their message. That's pretty much it, man. That's why I'm here. We could talk 60 days of service. Maybe we'll talk about it because I'm doing a day's service with a good buddy of mine today, day number 29. But why am I here on this show? It really isn't about me. Maybe I'm the reason some folks show up initially, but it's really not about me. It's just as a platform for my friends to tell their stories and talk about their organization. So without further ado, Rachel, I've kept you holding because I just had to get some stuff out there into the universe. Rachel Lippoff is here. First of all, before I even jump in and read backgrounds and bios, and I promise it's not going to be a long read because it's your story. What I like to start with is, first of all, welcome to the show. Second of all, welcome to my attic. And third of all, how are you doing? What's going on?
Well, thank you for the wonderful welcome. I am awesome. I'm here with you, not in the attic, but feels like I am.
Someday I will have you and I are contemporaries, as they say. Mm-hmm. And I tell me if I'm wrong. First time we ever met, and I think Ryan Harbinson introduced us, if I'm not mistaken, right? Yes. It was Harb. So Harb introduced us, and shout out Harb. Where's Harb? I got to think. Yeah. Where's Tommy D now? Where's Harb? Right? Never met Ryan Harbinson in real life. I intend to do so soon. I know. I know. But this is 2020, 2021. You make friends and you never have to be in the same building together.
It's true.
It's how it is. So shout out to Harb for the introduction. But tell me if I'm wrong. First time we met, I actually remember taking a call. I'd taken a call from another room in the house. And I was walking around my laptop. And you were, I guess, at your dining room table. And correct me if I'm wrong, but I might have the song wrong. But lyrics, is it Rapper's Delight lyrics, like typed out or written out behind, right? Tell me, so what's the deal there? I mean, classic. So what's up with that?
So listen, I actually since have moved them. They're on the stairway going up to the upstairs, but they're still up. I early on in the pandemic was looking to sort of redecorate in the dining room, and I have a daughter who's going to be 11 on Monday. Shout out to Avery.
Happy birthday, Avery. If maybe we'll sing later on. I do sing on the show sometimes, Avery.
But she happy birthday, Avery. We just I want to raise her right, and there's some music that he's just not going to get any exposure to just on the radio these days, and Spotify and all the things that she uses. And she's a drummer. And so I try to get her all sorts of stuff. Yep. She takes drum lessons. She's hardcore. She's cooler than I'll ever be. So Delight, a couple other ones had to be on the lyrics. So we framed them. And now, so every time she goes up and down those stairs, she sees it.
I gotta send it. Okay. It's so cool. I was actually in the Bronx on Tuesday night. A buddy of mine, who again is a virtual friend until Tuesday night, he was, so I'm taking this class for the Institute for Nonprofit Practice, and my buddy Michael Pardis, a friend of mine, he's the executive director of the Bronx Cooperative Development Initiative, and I went to see him being honored by Schneps Media, which actually Schneps has some connections down in Philadelphia. Vicky Schneps, we got to talk about that, but Victoria Schneps founded the Queen's Courier, and when I saw her the other night, she's a pip. I mean, she's just got so much energy, and her daughter lives in my neighborhood, so we bump into each other sometimes. But I was honored a number of years ago as a rising star. It's really a cool event. But I'm up there in the Bronx, and my buddy Michael, congrats again to Michael, and there's another gentleman being honored that night. There's like 30 or 40 men and women being honored. Really cool. A man who is going to be, I might have his title wrong, but the executive director of the Bronx Hip Hop Museum. Like it, yeah. I'm like,
that's so cool.
Is it right? I mean, we'll go. We'll figure. You know what we'll do once we'll figure it out where we can take the kids. Your kids, a Kid Again kids, and obviously Avery too, and my crew would dig it as well. I mean, it's funny. Like I'm going to be 44 next month, so for me it was the Beastie Boys, A Tribe Called Quest. It was certainly LL Cool J. And then I love the Roots out of Philly. I liked the Roots for a long time.
So much good Philly music.
Right. And Cypress Hill, which is a whole nother story for another show, but I used to I used to dig that music for a long time. What's kind of funny is my kids are learning. I'm really into a group called Revolution right now. And it's they're out of the West Coast, reggae. Yeah, really, but good vibes, good music, good messaging, even for the kids. I will though say I've been listening to their stuff with my kids for like the last 4 or 5 years, and it's real cool. And all of a sudden my kid realized some of the topics of what they're talking about. I'll leave it there because this is a family show, but it's reggae music, folks. Fill in the blanks. If you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying. If you don't, good, because I was trying to hide it from you. But
we've done the same thing where over the years, when she was little, and I was that parent who I didn't when I was back when you purchased each song and all that stuff, I didn't buy the radio version of songs. I bought the regular one with all of the regular
the real one, the real version.
Yeah, I can say these words. Other people can say these words. You can hear them, but you can't say them, and that's my rule. And I know it won't work forever. She's going to go to middle school next year, and
yeah.
What do you? I'm sure, but
you have just one daughter? No, 2 daughters. 2.
Just have one. Mm-hmm.
Right. So it's it's special seeing them. So my oldest is 12. I mean 12, 10, 9, and 6. So it's like watching the development is such a trip. And I happened to be at a thing. I don't know if I told it on the show or not, but I shaved down to like a pencil thin mustache about 2 weeks ago because a friend of ours was turning 40, and she had one of those like murder mystery, like murder mystery, like 20s, like roaring 20s, like the gals dressed like, and I say gals, I wouldn't say gals, but it was a 20s thing. So the dames were dressed in like, I'm in character right now. I'm not being that way, guys. I'm in character. The women were dressed like flappers and the whole kind of, that kind of shtick. And it was funny. So I shaved down to a pencil thin mustache. I don't remember why I started telling you about the beard just now. I'm a friend of mine, Kate, is there. And like, she's saying like, do you like, what do you do with music with your kids? Are you exposing them to music? I go, of course. I mean, like I grew up listening to music. I mean, 1 minute it's A Tribe Called Quest, then it's Cypress Hill, then it's the Beatles, and then Jim Morrison. Yep. My karaoke, if you were going to ask, I mean, I don't know if you have a go-to, but mine is Roadhouse Blues, where I literally lose my voice, like singing Morrison. Yeah. So yes, it's important, right? Like music. I mean, let's be real. Music changes our feelings, changes the way, changes our state. At least for me, it does.
Yeah. And it's a way to express yourself too.
Yeah.
And that's the thing I want it. So my daughter doesn't like what do you call it? Like the slow songs. Slow song comes on. She's like, no. And I keep thinking, it's only a few years before you're going to be blasting these slow, sad songs.
Like the ballad. Yeah. Like the Hard ballad stuff, yeah.
She's okay with the hard ballad that's slow. She doesn't like the weepy songs, which, you know, is good. She doesn't have any weeping to do. That's awesome. Someday they'll accompany her, you know, in her sorrow. No, she likes, well, anything with a good drum beat she's into.
Yeah, well, I'm thrilled. I don't know. I mean, we don't have to talk about it now, but like, I'd love to watch her drum. And, you know, if she does anything on, you know, everybody's like, I don't know. I try to keep my kids off like TikTok and those things, but, you know, I want my younger guy. He's 6 and he hit me when he wants to play the drums. And I was like, wow, like, that would be so cool. My brother was a drummer.
They've got these electronic drum kits, so you can have it in the house anywhere, you know, anywhere you're willing to keep the kit.
And it's not gonna like kill everyone.
So no one else has to hear it, or it just turns the volume down, because we're in a townhome and I can't have my poor neighbors, you know, if she's wailing on a full drum kit. But this way we monitor the volume. It's awesome. Yeah.
That is awesome. Yeah, I bought like one time because my other daughter, my second daughter, I was getting her like, it was like a baby set. And like, it, you know, it happened to be up here in the attic next to my congas, and like it ended up getting broken. But it's fun. Instruments are great. It's a lot of fun. I want to know about really you coming into this nonprofit world, because I always try to find out from my friends on the show here, what drew you to service work? You know, was there a catalyst? Was it something in school? Was it a you know, an experience with your family? Was there something like that? We're going to go to break in about a minute and a half, but we could start with that a little bit and tease them a little bit, get them come back to listen to the rest of the story. How did that all start for you?
So I wish I had like some crazy out there teaser to like leave everybody with. But I have to, you know, it all sort of starts with my mom and dad, because they were always into nonprofits. They're, you know, I was raised to always think about others and do good for others. And I can leave it there, but like, you know, I can tell you more, but that's really what started it. It's why my sister and I do what we do. So I've been in nonprofits for 20 years now, and there's nothing else I'd rather do.
Oh man, I love it.
You know how it is. It's that, like you said, making an impact and adding values. Like that's what I was raised to do.
You know, it's funny. I was talking to my wife last night, and I said, you know, we've been together like 22 years, and I said it's kind of funny because I remember a long time ago playing pool together one night, and she was saying how she was studying social work at the time, and she was going to get her MSW, Masters in Social Work, and really wanted to do work to serve people. And that was not my scene. Like I was, and it kind of hit me last night for some reason. I was like, wow, remember that? Because that was like all your deal. And now I'm so like deep into this sector and all the stuff I'm trying to do. And it's like, wow, that's so important. So it's interesting to see how, you know, some of us evolve, you know, some of us like my parents are great people that we just weren't always involved in nonprofit work, you know?
I think a lot of people aren't. And when you fall into it or you come into it, it's always awesome.
So that I want to we have so much to talk about. We could have talked music for an hour, but we got to do it. We got to do a Kid Again stuff. So let me just tell everybody really quick, and then we're going to go to a break. As Rachel said, she's been in this industry for 20 years. She's worked with various organizations, large and small. Now she's with this organization, the Philadelphia chapter of A Kid Again, which serves 230 families in Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Delaware, and New York. And they bring hope, happiness, and healing to families raising children with life-threatening conditions. We'll be right back. Rachel and I will be talking about this organization, the impact they make, what they need, and who they need to connect with. This is Philanthropy and Focus. That's Rachel. I'm Tommy D. We'll be right back.
Are you a business owner? Do you want to be a business owner? Do you work with business owners? Hi, I'm Stephen Fry, your small and medium-sized business or SMB guy, and I'm the host of the new show, Always Friday. While I love to have fun on my show, we take those Friday feelings of freedom and clarity to discuss popular topics on the minds of SMBs today. Please join me and my various special guests on Friday at 11 a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a conscious co-creator? Are you on a quest to raise your vibration and your consciousness? I'm Sam Leibowitz, your conscious consultant, and on my show, The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, we will touch upon all these topics and more. Listen live at our new time on Thursdays at 12 noon Eastern Time. That's The Conscious Consultant Hour, Awakening Humanity, Thursdays, 12 noon on talkradio.nyc.
Are you on edge? Hey, we live in challenging, edgy times, so let's lean in. I'm Sandra Bargman, the host of The Edge of Every Day, which airs each Monday at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc. Tune in live with me and my friends and colleagues as we share stories and perspectives about pushing boundaries and exploring our rough edges. That's The Edge of Every Day on Mondays at 7 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC. Uplift, educate, empower.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
That's what you're supposed to do. Static. And I hear some static. I don't know if it's just in my head or not, but I want you to cut through the freaking static, man, and join me in my attic. But seriously, please don't show up on my porch and like think you're really coming to the attic. It's the vertical attic. One day, look, since we are contemporaries, as I say, Rachel, you and I know a movie with Mike Myers and Dana Carvey, Wayne's World. And my buddy Mike in the neighborhood, we had like a Halloween party a few weeks back, and he was doing it. He had like the Wayne's World and did this whole like head bob. You guys can't see me if you're listening, but that whole Wayne Campbell thing. But here's what I've been sort of threatening. One day somebody's going to pull me out of my attic and they're going to say, Tommy D, we want you to do this show big. And we want you, we're going to get a studio for you. So here's the deal. They made Wayne's basement in the studio. So they have to make Tommy D's attic in the studio. So ABC, NBC, ESPN, whoever wants me, that's how I come with. I don't need the green M&Ms, but I come with some commands. So I'm not really that much of a prima donna anymore, but I used to be. But it's not so much anymore. Just an attic is all I need. So this is Philanthropy and Focus. I shared the website while we were away. So if you are listening and not watching, you can go to akidagain.org and actually, Rachel, share with me the Philly chapter website. We'll just kind of call it out real quick.
We are, and I'm pulling it back up because I always miss the end of it. We are www.akidagain, and it's / I'm sorry to tell you that we usually just go to just a kid again and I go down. It should be Greater Philadelphia.
Okay, a kid. I'll share it. I'll actually share it on the Facebook stream for you guys all because Rachel and I were chatting it in the chat.
Yeah, it's /chapter / Greater Philadelphia.
Got it.
It's long. If you go to kidagain.org, you will find us and you will find everything that we do nationally.
If they go to kidagain.org, they can go to About Us. I'm looking at it right now. About Us, chapters, and then hit the Greater Philly. So let me read this again. Well, let me hit this really quick because I have been corrected. So I said 230 families, and either in the last 90 seconds you've gotten 20 more families, or my numbers are wrong. My data is off, and I think it's probably the latter. My number. I don't think you just picked up 20 families while we were here, right?
You know what happened was it's only been a few weeks, but since I gave you that info, and it's my fault because I forgot to update you guys yesterday. But my amazing program coordinator, my colleague Jen Beata, who works with me here, who is in charge of enrolling families and actually creating our adventures, just let me know yesterday. We're at 249 families. Our original goal for this year was 100 families. So I upped it to 150. I upped it to 200. So now the goal by the end of the year is 250 families.
Let me ask you, have you ever been a sales manager? Because that is such a sales manager move. And I see my buddy Steve checking in on Facebook. Steve Fry knows what I'm talking about, right? Hit your number, and you hit your number, and they give you a 30% increase on your quota. And you go, oh, that's cool. And sometimes they'd even shrink the territory. They go, oh, here's you're so freaking good at this that we're going to give you a bigger number to hit, and we're going to give you less turf to do it in. So that was always, but I love how you keep moving the bar, raising, right?
The fact of the matter is we're never going to be able to help enough kids and enough families. And that's what it comes down to. So, there's no resting on your laurels. There's no way to stop. And the vision of A Kid Again is to make every child with a life-threatening condition and their family feel like a kid again. Unfortunately, There's no end to the number of kids who are diagnosed with these conditions. And so, there's no end to our work. So we have chapters that have over 1,000 families. We started in the pandemic, and I was hired during the quarantine part. And
you were like one of these like millions of people across this country onboarded in this strange world. Right?
Yeah, it's crazy. And because we're national, the nature of the beast is we're virtual with each other a lot of the time. But yeah, it's crazy to start a new job and not actually meet most of the people in person that you work with on a daily basis. But it's an awesome team.
So have you guys had a powwow together? You've done events, for your families so far this, in 20 and 2021, right?
Absolutely. So I started with a kid again, April 13th, 2020, right in the middle of the quarantine. And Jen came on board this May in 2021. And we were all virtual. What happened was, the pandemic hit and a kid again. What we do is we provide, the hope, as you said before, hope, happiness, and healing to families raising kids with life-threatening conditions. And we do it by providing this time out from illness for them, the opportunity to get away from, to spend a day not having to think about the financial worries, the medical worries, the mortality of your own child or children, right? Sometimes there are marriage challenges that come out of this because everything is all bundled into one, and we give these families completely cost-free the opportunity every month or every other month. They can opt in to any of the adventures at their chapter to go and get away from it all. We go to amusement parks and zoos and sporting events, and we do holiday parties and anything we can do. So
let me interrupt. Throw a little bit of levity here because we happen to be Met fans here in the attic, like me. So I don't know if you met. That's Moisha, the mensch on the bench, and I just named the L's name. It's a long name, so hold on tight, everybody. It's Ricky Tiki Tembo, No Sa Rembo, Cherry Berry Richie, Pip Perry Pembo, which is an old kid's book, and Ricky Tiki Tembo has fallen into the well, and I call him, we're close, so I call him just a short name. But his brother, when he fell into the well, had to run home to mom and tell that whole long name. And poor little guy almost drowned because it's such a long name, and I thought that would be fun to do. So I named him that. But we're Met fans here to get back to this quick point. When you talk about sporting events, are you telling me that you took the kids to a Phillies game or something like that?
I am telling you that we have connected with the Phillies, and that this year in 2022, we will be taking our families to a Phillies game. We are not, because our geographic reach in this chapter is so broad, the whole eastern half of Pennsylvania, like you said, all of New Jersey, all of Delaware, southern tip of New York. We are not, only one team, loyal to just one team. We've got people who will cheer for anything. We are partnered with we have a new partnership with the Lehigh Valley Phantoms, their minor league hockey team.
Oh, cool.
And my boyfriend is a very, very diehard Mets fan. So, I'm a Braves fan. So,
Why can't, all right, now we're never going to get to the meat of the matter because now
we'll get to it.
I know we will. I'll make sure.
But I understand. I'm starting to understand the fascination with the Mets.
All right. We love our Metsies. It is what it is. It's a labor of love for sure. But what about first of all, I have like 15 questions just about I would love to figure out a way where you and I can kind of hook up and make a Met game happen at some point, because
phenomenal.
We talk southern tip of New York. That is certainly my part of New York.
Right.
And everything above the Bronx, I pretty much think is Canada anyway. So sorry.
Listen, maybe we can do, Phillies Mets game would be the ultimate.
That sounds fun. That would be fun. I want to check out the Phantoms you're talking about, though. That's fun. Here's the bigger thing. Shout out to your boyfriend being a Met fan. I'm assuming we're around the same age, so he's had the ups and downs that we have had as Met fans. Let me ask you this. How do you end up an Atlanta Braves fan, though? That's like, what is that about?
So I come by it honestly. Not only did I have parents who were very into nonprofits and served on boards and all of this, but I moved around a lot as a kid. And I'm convinced that I would not be the, outgoing person I am today without doing that. But 2nd through 6th grade, I spent in Atlanta, in the suburbs of Atlanta, and I became a never a Mets fan, sorry. A Braves fan. I know, I'm never going to live this down. He's listening and I'll never live this down.
know what? You couldn't turn into a Met fan after being a Braves fan, especially if you're talking, I don't know, David Justice. Is that what we're talking about? Like those years, like, right? Like, and Larry Chipper Jones,
Chipper's my favorite.
I'm going, ugh, and you're going, yeah.
I live this. I know this. But I never let them go. We moved from Georgia. We moved to Ohio. Went to a lot of Reds games, but I never let the Braves go. Moved to Florida, and then I moved here. I moved actually back to Atlanta for college. So that,
it cemented it. Yeah, it was right back. Yeah. Michael Corleone says, I try to get out and they pull me back in. Remember that? Look, if you guys don't like Godfather 3, why don't you just look at it as a separate film and not part of a trilogy? It is a good film. And if you want to argue with me, text me, hit me on Instagram, TommyD.NYC. We can argue that, because I think it unto itself, Immobiliare and the Pope and all that stuff, there's a lot of story there. This is not what we're supposed to be talking about right now, but Godfather 3 is a good movie. All right, so
I've never even seen the Godfather movies. I'm saying this where everybody can hear. It's not because I'm anti, I just never have. I know. I'm
not even like disappointed with you. I'm just like, you gotta watch it. Just what
I will.
All right, there's a lot there. My friends are they're laughing at us because we got Steve Fry checking in, who comes on the show after this. He's talking about Ricky Tiki Tembo, No Sal Rembo, Cherryberry Richie, Pip Perry Pembo. I don't even have to. I wanted to share the site before, and I said I would do it for the folks on Facebook. I don't even have to, because my partner, Mick Collins, shared it for me on Facebook. Like, this is like what we got going on. Shout out to Mick. Mick's with an incredible organization, Pay It Forward Processing, merchant processing company that works with, now I'm going to hook you, I see you write it down. So we're going to hook that up, because they partner up with nonprofit organizations, and they have this, they have their own foundation. Every swipe benefits charity. So they take a major portion of profit and they roll it back out into our world, the nonprofit sector. So we'll make that happen. You should actually, if you can make it next Tuesday morning, the 21st, and anybody else who's in the nonprofit sector listening, on Zoom, I will have my friend Maheen Kaleem of Grant Makers for Girls of Color. She runs an incredible organization, and she'll be on our nonprofit roundtable. Hit me up if you want to get more info on that. Tommy D at Philanthropy and Phocus.com is the email, everybody. And if you cannot make that, always follow me, because we put that stuff on YouTube after that. So, all right, what we're going to do is I really want to find out programmatically what this looks like for a family to get involved with the organization, and what it looks like. What is a day in the life of you guys? I mean, you're changing lives. I mean, you're making that, as we talked about earlier, you're making an incredible impact. I want to know what that's like. I couldn't pull it off to get down to Dorney Park with you, although we did talk about it. It was Dorney, right? Yeah, so we'll have to go back. And we're going to go to City Field, and what do you call it down there? Citizens Bank Park? Is that?
Yes, we do.
Oh, I've been there, actually. I went there with my buddy Michael.
Great ballpark. It's a great ballpark.
It is a great ballpark. I'm just being. Sorry, guys.
They're awesome.
I don't hate the Phillies. I mean, whatever. It's like I don't have enough time to hate anybody. I'm too busy trying to hug people, man. All right, so Rachel, when we come back, I want to talk programs. I want to talk what it looks like, what it feels like to make an impact for these young people and their families. And then we always get into what's important. I don't want to say most important, but certainly up there is, who do you need to meet? Who are you looking to connect with? And how can we help you out? Is that cool?
That sounds great.
All right. This is Philanthropy in Focus with a PHOCUS. I'm Tommy D. That's Rachel. We'll be right back. Thank you.
I am Joseph Franklin McElroy, host of the new podcast, Gateway to the Smokies. It airs on talkradio.nyc every Tuesday night from 6 p.m. to 7. Every episode is dedicated to memorable experiences in the Great Smoky Mountains National Park and surrounding areas. This show features experts and locals who will expound upon the richness of culture, history, and adventure that awaits you in the Smokies. Tune in every Tuesday from 6 p.m. to 7 on talkradio.nyc.
Are you passionate about the conversation around racism? Hi, I'm Reverend Dr. TLC, host of the Dismantle Racism Show, which airs every Thursday at 11 a.m. Eastern on talkradio.nyc. Join me and my amazing guests as we discuss ways to uncover, dismantle, and eradicate racism. That's Thursdays at 11 o'clock a.m. on talkradio.nyc.
Are you a small business trying to navigate the COVID-19 related employment laws? Hello, I'm Eric Sauver, employment law business law attorney and host of the new radio show, Employment Law Today. On my show, we'll have guests to discuss the common employment law challenges business owners are facing during these trying times. Tune in on Tuesday evenings from 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern Time on talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc, now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
We're in the attic. Happy birthday, Avery. Happy birthday to you. All right, so 12,638 people this organization served last year. Since this organization has been making an impact and has been adding value, they have served 206,460. What are they doing? We make life for families caring for a child with life-threatening condition normal again, by helping them gain back moments of positive family shared experiences and memories. Man, we live in a crazy world where things are challenging and difficult. Life can be challenging, man. You know, I say sometimes life has an edge to it. You know, sometimes we got to dull that edge and kind of mellow out. Throw in the challenge of when you have a family member, specifically a child who is experiencing illness, life-threatening illness, and that challenge just gets more and more difficult. When I think of organizations like yours, Rachel, or when I think of organizations like, I did a day of service with Marty Lyons Foundation here in Long Island. I see you nodding. I see no Marty Lyons aware of the work they're doing, they've helped thousands and thousands of young people get the dreams that they want. When I think of where I'm going after the show today to meet with my friend Kylie McGrain from A Moment of Magic, and we're going to put bravery bags together this afternoon and bring those down to St. Mary's Children's Hospital in Bayside, Queens. Shout out Bayside. Queens, my favorite borough. Bayside, probably my favorite town in Queens. So now I'm in a lot of trouble with a lot of people, but so like overzealous, like people care what my favorite borough is, you know, like, oh, Tommy, you shouldn't say it like that. No one cares which borough I like the best. So that's what I'm doing, though. I'm supporting these organizations because they're giving a respite. They're giving a moment of magic. They're giving an opportunity for a kid to be a kid again. I mean, I somewhere along the line, I think as adults, we stop playtime. I don't think we should, honestly. And for something, I got a pair of sunglasses here because my buddy Steve Fry's show is coming. So talk about playtime. I'm going to put on my shades. Right? Steve puts on his shades. Always Friday comes up next. So I thought that would be playful. But why do we give up playtime? Whoa, my hair looks crazy now.
That's a good look.
Oh, I'm not sure. So why do we stop playing? You know, life, we grow up, whatever. But in a kid should not have to give up playing and give up that moment of being a kid again. So that's what you create. What does it look like? What does it feel like? You know, talk to me maybe a couple anecdotes about the families and their experiences and maybe the siblings, because there's a lot of, right? I know there's a lot here. There's a lot of collateral connections and things. So let's talk about that, Rachel.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I love that you mentioned the siblings, and we talked about that when we first met and talked. Is one of the most unique things about a kid again is that we are here for the entire family. So it's not just the child who's enrolled who has the life-threatening condition who we're serving, and their family sort of comes along for the ride. Everything that we do at a Kid Again, the heart of it is for these families, for the child who is ill, who just needs to get through the next treatment or the next surgery to get to that next adventure. They have that adventure to look forward to. Like, we are something for them, something positive to get them through to the next thing. To the siblings who, so many of these siblings give up so much of their childhood as well, just like their sick sibling does. Maybe there isn't money, excuse me, to go to Little League or time, or maybe there's, you know, the birthday parties and mom and dad can't get you there because they need to be with your sibling. And these siblings, these kids are, whether they're older or younger, are so supportive and so understanding, really, you know, unsung heroes. So you asked a day in the life of a kid again, like everything we do is for these families, thinking about what we can do for the parents, thinking about what we can do for the kids and the siblings. We had before we were doing in-person adventures with our chapter, we did some virtual adventures, and there would be times when the enrolled kid was too ill or wasn't old enough or wasn't interested. We did a Minecraft adventure, things like that. They just weren't, for whatever reason, but it didn't mean the family couldn't be a part of it. We had families where it was just the siblings that were part of this one.
If I could interrupt you for a second, they need a bit of the respite as well, to your point.
They do.
It's, and I'm trying to not get mushy and emotional, but
it's hard not to, though, with our family.
And I think about it even, as it relates to families with a child with special needs, because it's similar. It's yes, the child who is going through something needs to needs to work through their treatments or whatever therapies they're getting. But what is the other? Somebody else is forced to grow up pretty quick too. Maybe multiple somebody else's, and that's what the work you do in organizations like you do is incredible. And I never stop. I can never stop getting touched by it. Honestly, it's special.
The kids are our enrolled kids are like that too. There's they worry that if they have a bad day and they can't go to an adventure, and then mom and dad can't get the siblings to the adventure, or it's the holiday party that everybody looks forward to. It's these, you want families to all, be in it for each other and all this. And these families they would be anyway, but they're forced to just, you band together and you stick together, and these kids look out for each other. And I love, there's a brother who comes with his sister and his family to our adventures, and he is really good buddies with one of our enrolled kids. And they didn't meet at a kid again. They actually met because Ryland's sister Sophia has spina bifida and Charlo has spina bifida, and so Ryland is, and Ryland's mom actually is the executive director, and Sophia's mom the executive director of the Spina Bifida Association of the Delaware Valley, one of our big partners. And Ryland and Charlo are good friends, and I love watching them meet up at a kid again. It's again not the only place they see each other, but there's a community, and these families need to go somewhere where people aren't staring, where they're part of a big group. So if someone is looking over, they can, someone else just puts their arm around them and they go off. They don't have to worry. The child doesn't have to worry because he or she has a trach or they're in a wheelchair or something neurological or anything. Everybody gets to just be. And that's part of what our adventures do, a huge part of what they do for everybody in the family. Nobody feels you're not different. You're like everybody else at Dorney Park that day, at Diggerland that day, at a Phillies game that day, at the Philadelphia Zoo. In February, we're going to be going, I don't know if our families know this yet, but in February, we're going to go to the Academy of Natural Sciences in Philly. Lots of dinosaurs, lots of really cool stuff. And I will have families who will never have done that. You're on mute.
I'm on mute.
Hold on, Rachel.
I'm on mute. That's great, Tommy D. Get it together, man. So I probably, because I was getting all mushy, I put myself on mute because I don't want to hear everybody hear me whimper over here. So there's so much in Philadelphia, right? So first of all, that adventure that you're talking about in February, you said it's with dinosaurs, or there's dinosaur obviously it's no dinosaurs.
Natural Sciences through Drexel University. It's our dinosaur museum. It's really cool, and they've got all sorts of cool stuff.
That sounds like a trip. But what I was going to say was, there's so much history in the city of brotherly and sisterly love. Is there an interest from the kids or is that stuff kind of I want to go to the dinosaur place, I'd rather go to a Phillies game,
No, so what I find is no matter two things. One, no matter what adventure we have, and not just our chapter, I mean across the country, there are A Kid Again chapters. We have a lot of autonomy to create adventures, and there are always families who are interested. And the beautiful thing about A Kid Again is if you're not interested in at that particular adventure, it doesn't suit your family, doesn't matter. You just don't have to, you just don't register for that adventure. And the next one's going to come up next. Like, it's never ending, where it's not,
it's like a month. Like, is it always like how, like, are there a dozen events? Is there like, what are we talking about? I know that I saw a calendar. I don't want to share it net necessarily now, but like, what is that like when you're part of this community? What is that like?
So each chapter is different, but the again, at Greater Philadelphia chapter, which I know the name is Greater Philadelphia. We are, Northern Mid-Atlantic. We serve families all over here. And we don't only have our adventures in Philadelphia. So I want to make sure any family listening or someone who knows a family listening or watching, make sure you know that we move around. We're all over the place. But yeah, I think, oh God, I lost my train of thought. Look at that.
I guess I was asking what is the roadmap of the year? Like
the year. Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, I muted myself. You lost your train of thought. This is real life, man. This is a reality show, Rachel. There's not like this. Newsflash: this is not scripted. This is real. Just want to let you know. Just in case you thought we were doing a play, we're not. It's a conversation. You guys just happen to be eavesdropping on a conversation that Rachel and I are having. That's how this works. What does the next year look like?
Yeah, so I can tell you in 2021, our chapter, we had 10 adventures. Some were virtual because we weren't at the beginning of 2021 in person yet here. And about half or more actually were in person. And we will probably have about 10, I'm guessing, adventures again in 2022. There are times when there are 2 in a month. There are times when we do skip a month. We don't have anything scheduled for January. But what's really cool about it is we have partners like the Phantoms, the Lehigh Valley Phantoms I mentioned, who and the Phillies will do this too, where they've got some tickets, for a game or a really wonderful, there's so many charitable and philanthropic people out there who, have a suite at an event or something like that, and they'll say, here for your families. And so we'll be able to throw that out and say, the first 100 people, can do this. It's not an official adventure with the kid again, but so they have opportunities in between our adventures to do stuff. And this is my favorite thing ever. I know it's crazy, is after an adventure, when a mom or dad will email me or text me and say, we met so-and-so's family, will you give them our contact info? Because we want to get together.
Awesome.
Because then they're having play dates, they're having get-togethers. The parents have time to just sit there and talk and share stories and ideas and details of their lives that can help each other. So it's the adventures and the fact that we have chapters that'll do 12 in a year, larger, more established chapters, and look at there. So there's always something to look forward to, but there's stuff in between that's so cool.
That's the ripple, man. I talk about it all the time. I didn't come up with the ripple effect, but I love it. I love this vision I see of pebbles being tossed into ponds and buckets of pebbles, right? Like, and I love just to see the ripple so these families connect. And I thought it was kind of cute how you said, like, give them my number, because obviously I couldn't say, hey, can you send me the phone number for Mr. and Mrs. Jones? No, I can't. Your answer is no. So have them call from Tommy D. Like, I want to hook up. I want to be friends with them. And, it's, there's so much to be said for community, right? And like that ripple that your organization does, what you provide is incredible. But then what is the ancillary? What's the roll off of that? These connections, the families meet, they do things separate and apart from a kid again. Or maybe then, somebody's brother-in-law works for whatever. And that organization has, to your point, 150 tickets to a Phillies game or whatever, is doing a tour of the Liberty, going to go see the Liberty Bell.
Yes.
Cool stuff, right? Like other cool, things. Like I've been down before the pandemic, I was down in Philly, once a month for 3-4 days. And it was, and it's funny because as we started talking about Ryan Harbinson earlier today, I never met Harb in real life, but I was down in Philly a few years back. And then I meet him now, in pandemic world. And it's so I haven't, had it been a couple of years earlier, I would have, hung out with him a bunch of times. But I just say that city is so cool. I mean, look, New York City is cool, no doubt, but Philly's cool, man. Philly's got really cool, there's so much history and I'm drawn to go back down there. And you know,
Gotta get you back down here.
we're come down, and I think like with the kids and stuff, because I'd love for them. I want to go to DC too. I want to take them down to DC because, you know, right? Like one time we went a few years back. My sister was she had a program going on, so we popped in on her, surprised her. But went down by the White House, which have you seen the White House?
Yeah, my sister lives in DC. We love to go.
So let me ask you this about the White House, and then we'll go to a break. Totally unrelated, although nothing is unrelated because it's all connected. But I thought it was tiny when I saw it. I expected it. I did. I really did. I just was like, I don't know what I expected, but I just expected it not to be that little. Like that's
I get that.
You get that?
Well, and I also think, you know, when you're standing there, you know, what is it, Pennsylvania Avenue, and I'm sorry if I'm wrong on all this, and you're looking at it, you're not even seeing the whole thing either.
Right.
So the part you see, yeah, you're right. Like it doesn't, it's not this gigantic palatial estate that you expect it to be.
Probably what I needed to do, and what this is. So if, probably maybe what some of your families need to do too is an aerial, like a helicopter. You probably can't. This is probably so illegal. You probably can't.
Yeah, I'm guessing you can't fly over the White House, but that would be cool.
You can't fly. If anybody has a photograph of that, that'd be cool for me to see. Because apparently I can't just. It's probably a no-fly zone, I would guess. Like you can't just like, hey, let's go by the White House. Haha, that's probably not cool.
You bring your parachute. You just jump out and you go visit.
Sure, yeah, run across the lawn too. Yeah, that's how you end up under the prison, like under the jail, stuff like that.
I don't like
No, that much I know. All right, when we come back, we're going to go to another break. When we come back, I'll throw the website up again for everybody to check out. When we come back, I want to know, are there organizations you're looking to meet? Are there, when I say that, businesses, people who might be able to write big or little checks or partner up with? Are there other organizations, nonprofits that you think would be a good fit to partner up with? Think about that. This is Tommy D. This is Philanthropy and Focus. That's my friend Rachel. We are rocking and rolling. Time is flying by, so that means you have to come back, Rachel. That's the rule. So I need to do the show 7 days a week to fill up all I'm trying to do.
Anytime.
We'll be back.
Join us every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Eastern for the Mind Behind Leadership, where we focus on what leadership really means to us and to others. We have practical discussions with the CEOs of some of the world's largest companies, owners of small businesses, and experts in psychology and behavior to get that inside track, what to do, what to avoid, and what really happens. Join me, Graham Dobbin, at the new time, 4 p.m. every Tuesday for the Mind Behind Leadership, here live on talkradio.nyc.
Hey everybody, it's Tommy D, the Nonprofit Sector Connector, coming at you from my attic. Each week here on talkradio.nyc, I host the program Philanthropy and Focus. Nonprofits impact us each and every day, and it's my focus to help them amplify their message and tell their story. Listen each week at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time until 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here on talkradio.nyc.
Calling all pet lovers.
Pet Avengers, assemble!
On the Professionals and Animal Lovers show, we believe the bond between animal lovers is incredibly strong. It mirrors that bond between pets and their owners. Through this program, we come together to learn, educate, and advocate.
Join us live every Wednesday at 2 p.m. at talkradio.nyc.
You're listening to Talk Radio NYC at www.talkradio.nyc. Now broadcasting 24 hours a day.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join Tommy in his attic.
I'm like Joe Cool with these. Remember Joe Cool, like Snoopy? Snoopy would like, it was like a kind of like a little bit bad A. I don't want to curse on the show. It's a family show. But Snoopy, like a leather jacket, Snoopy is like Joe Cool. Like that's what I feel like a little bit Joe Cool today. Right on. I could do it. So here, you just shared with me in the chat here, the Facebook page. I will share that. I'll kind of spin that out on what we're doing here as well. This is always the part of the show that, you know, I really want to know how my people can help. How can I help? How can the people I'm connected to help? Who are you looking to meet with? Who do you want to be introduced to? That kind of stuff. So this is for me, but it's also for others who are listening. So let's play. What do you need, Rachel Lippoff?
Well, What I need, tell me, dude, is, I can break it down into sort of 3 or 4 distinct sort of areas. The first one is we're always looking for new partners for adventures. If there's somebody, sports team, museum, anything fun for kids. We went to a farm and the families did, pumpkin and apple picking and hay rides. And we have families who, with kids in wheelchairs who could not do that except for with us because, when we're doing it, there are ramps and all this stuff.
Wait. So when you do that, you actually hook it up? Because I've taken my kids who don't have any special needs there. But it's not like, there's rocks and it's ups and downs and it's like, right. So you trick that stuff out. So young wheelchairs.
They did it for us. So when Jen Beata, who is our shout out to Jen, couldn't do what we do without that girl. And when she is talking to a potential venue for an adventure, a couple things that we have to find out right up front, ADA compliant, make sure bathrooms are accessible, everything's got to be accessible. Now some things are more easily accessible than others, if there's an uphill and it's harder, but as long as we can make sure that we've got, I have to also thank our volunteers. Oh my gosh, we have so many volunteers who come out for our adventures. We have an amazing board who everybody just supports us and is there helping the families. But we went to Johnson's Locust Hall Farm in New Jersey, and they had ramps that they have there. I guess they have there all the time. So new note for anybody. But they had some dedicated hay rides just for our families. We like to have a space away right now, especially during COVID, a space away from the general public.
So they were open. So they're open for the general public, but they'll also give you your own. Okay, cool.
Yep. They went above and beyond.
Let's give them a try. Johnson's. What is it called?
So the Johnson's family is Johnson's Farms, and they have Johnson's Corner Farm and they have Johnson's Locust Hall Farm. And we were at Locust Hall, and I've been going to Johnson's Corner Farm for years with my daughter. They're amazing. There are so many incredible farms in the area, and this is just one of them. But they were amazing partners. We're hoping to go back and do another one in the fall. We had families who've never gone. The kids have never gone on hay rides, have never gone apple or pumpkin picking, and it never, when you're a family that can just do that, you don't think about it. We have families who can't just jump in the car and go to Wawa. It's a huge production. You need multiple mobilities for your child, because if something happens with the brace, you're going to need the chair. And
it's a lot of, and the work might be the wrong word, but it's challenging to do this. And I think, look, I think what I would ask people to do, and I try to find this in my own day at times, is be grateful for what you have, the abilities you have. And I don't mean if you've got a lot of dough in your bank account. That's not what I'm talking about. I mean, be grateful. I'm grateful for the fact that I can get up and down these stairs to the attic. That's a big deal. Not everybody can have that. I have that ability. Be grateful for the ability you have. Be grateful for the health that you have, because some of these things are fleeting, and one day, I might be 90 years old trying to walk up the stairs to the attic because I'm an old man, and I might have to do the show from my bedroom, because I have to deflect with humor because I get emotional. So I have to make something silly. I have to say that.
We'll do an attic in your bedroom. It'll be fine.
Wayne's World. But the thing is, be grateful, gang. That's what I'm asking you. Find gratitude, because we all have. We all are blessed in a lot of ways, and I know plenty of people who do have special needs or disabilities who are incredibly grateful.
Oh yeah.
So just kind of put things in perspective. That's what I challenge you with. I want to go back to that. So partners, who else?
So we want adventure venues. We're always looking. You had mentioned, donors, sponsors, supporters. An individual, a family, a company, a huge corporation can sponsor one or multiple adventures. I mean, we're talking, it could be $1,500, it could be $15,000, and really make an impact there. We're starting a new corporate partners program with our chapter. So, you as a company will get, a lot of marketing benefits just for giving these families the time out that they need. So that's always, and we're in our end of year, we're on a calendar year, so we're in a good push for that. And the last thing, and the most important thing, because as I said, no matter what, the heart of everything we do is our families, is families. If anybody knows of, if you are a family with a child with a life-threatening condition, almost all of us know someone or know someone who knows someone who is. It's not just our chapter. They don't have to live in the Northern Mid-Atlantic region. Anywhere in any of these 50 states can be part of a Kid Again. We will, if you don't have a chapter near you, we'll do virtual adventures. We'll send you adventures in a box right to your house.
Yep.
But you know, it's a kidagain.org/enroll now. That's so important. The families are the number one thing that we always want, because we want that we can never help enough.
Look, you are the number one thing right now, because you know, I know you're not going to take credit for it, and it's not about you, but look, it takes leadership to make these things happen. And I appreciate you. I appreciate your friendship. Got to do a couple of shout outs, and I'll probably leave some people off. Happy birthday, Avery. Shout out to you, kid. Hey, Jen, look forward to meeting you when I come down there and we do some sort of event together. Maybe we'll partner up with this networking group we run called TNG, the networking group. Shout out to my gang, a couple guys, Mick Collins and Steve Fry checking in, obviously. I am so thrilled to meet you in person soon and be a part of what you're doing. And thanks for being here. I felt like the Golden Girls, like, thank you for being my friend.
That's how I feel.
Gonna sing. I told you I was gonna sing. All right, so
thank you for having me. Thank you for talking about a Kid Again.
I'm so excited to have you here. I have like 15 things I want to tell you right now. We don't have time for that, so we'll have to talk later because I have a lot of ideas. Thanks for being here. I'll wrap now because I know Kyle's like, Tommy D, Steve Fry's show starts in like 2 minutes. Can you wrap? Steve Fry, put on the shades, baby boy. The SMB guy will be back in a minute. He'll be back in a few minutes. I'm Tommy D. This is Philanthropy and Focus. Check me out, TommyD.NYC on Instagram, and the same on the TikTok. I'll dance a little bit on the TikTok for you. Email TommyD@philanthropyandfocus.com. We are off for 2 weeks. We'll be back on the 7th of January, where Beth Bengston will be here for Working for Women, which is an incredible organization. And we'll be connecting with her and helping her tell her story and amplify her message. Rachel, make it a great day. I'll see you soon. Everybody else, thanks for checking in. Mick Collins, Steve Fry, Cessia for being here, watching the show. See you guys later on. Bye.
Nonprofits need connections to move in good directions. So cut through all the static. Join